This is the Mariners POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Seattle Mariners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Man alive, this team just refuses to make things easy on themselves, don't they?
Yeah.
They always have to do it the hard way. And we're on the verge of doing something for the first time in franchise history. Taking away the circumstances, this might have been one of the worst games of the season. Like the entire season for the Seattle Mariners. And at a pretty important time.
Yeah.
So just not good. I'm a little pissed off. I'm going to tell you guys right now because because the Mariners lost, I have to host pre-intermission post-game of the Crackin game tomorrow. I have to host Mariners post-game and Seahawks post-game all in one day.
Right.
So, it's going to be a fun one for your boy here. But let's talk about the Mariners postcast here. Anderson Hurst, Chris Crawford with you. Logan Gilbert was bad. The offense might have been worse besides one player. And the defense might have been worse than that. There was not a phase of this game besides maybe bullpen-ish that was up to par today. And unfortunately, I feel like the Blue Jays are the better team right now. And I even think that going into today, to be completely honest. And I just don't know what to make of that. And now I'm going to be a nervous wreck tomorrow, along with exhausted. So, Chris Crawford, what are your thoughts on Game 6?
I've typed this phrase a lot. I don't know if I've ever said it out loud. A wet fart noise. This game was just a wet fart noise, and it's so disappointing that they came out so flat, so incredibly flat. All that talk about if you are anti-momentum, bada boom, bada bam, ba bam. There's your perfect example of it right there. That maybe momentum isn't always a thing, because to say the Seattle Mariners felt like they had the momentum after that monumentous Game 5 win is an understatement. And it meant nothing. It meant absolutely nothing, except it does, Anders. And here's why it does matter. Because you won yesterday, you get a chance still tomorrow. You still get a chance to play for the World Series tomorrow. If you play like you did today, it doesn't matter. You will get absolutely cleaned, absolutely destroyed. But you do because you win that game. But it's just so disappointing to see a team. I don't know if they were nervous. I don't know if they were lackadaisical. I don't know if the moment just was too big, vomit on the sweater already, mom spaghetti. I don't know what it was. All I know was it was nowhere close to good enough. And now you have a do or die game again. But in Toronto, this is going to be really hard.
Yeah, and I realize myself and you, Chris Crawford, we made a big deal out of Game 5 because it gave you the series lead and it gave you kind of one more step towards going to that World Series for the first time in franchise history. But again, I expect the players to have the mentality of this isn't over. And it looked like today that they kind of thought it was over at this point. And they expended all of their energy to do what they did in Game 5. And it's like, guys, you still need to win one more game for this to really matter. And then, of course, 4 more after that if you really want to make it matter. But that's why it's such a grueling grind at this point in the season. And as much as I hate them, I've said it multiple times, I hate the Blue Jays, but they're a really good team.
Very good team.
They are hard to beat, and they've been hard to beat for the last 4 games now. So it's going to be a tough one. I'm going to be honest. I don't feel great about tomorrow. But hopefully George Kirby proves me wrong, but let's start with the starter today. And that was Logan Gilbert. What were your thoughts on non-Walter's performance?
Walter was very bad. Walter was cooked more than Walter cooked. Unfortunately, it's the let's eat grandma. We're putting the comma between Walter and cooked. The command was really bad. Now, I will also say, and we'll talk about it, but the defense behind him didn't do him any help whatsoever. One of the reasons the defense didn't help him, though, is because he couldn't finish off hitters. He could not get the swings and miss. And Logan Gilbert still, he will be the first person to tell you, relies on swing and miss more than any starter, I think, in Major League Baseball. He does not have that ground ball pitch. He does not have that pitch that can get you out of innings. He relies on swing and miss. This lineup doesn't swing and miss. It's a really difficult lineup to strike out. It is a poor matchup. His command was bad. The defense behind him didn't do him any favors whatsoever, but it's disappointing that the guy who came into your year as the ace of your staff wasn't good enough in 2 games. And there's a bevy of excuses behind it. In the first game, he was hurt by his defense and he was hurt by Doug Eddings. And thank God we don't have to watch Doug Eddings do that ever again. Umpiring tonight wasn't great either.
Well, Andy was on short rest in the first game. So that's kind of something I was like, okay, he has full rest. I expect to see Walter today.
I had so much great expectations for him. I really thought Walter was going to shove tonight, and he didn't. And if you want to make those excuses, and I'll make some of them for him, the defense wasn't good enough. There were a couple of missed calls, but ultimately, it's on you. It's on you, and also a little bit on your manager for leaving you in for the 5th inning as well. I don't understand that decision as well. Somebody posted, and I thought this was really good. Just real quick on Dan Wilson. I had it right in front of me, and of course I lost it because I'm not good at this. But he didn't manage to win today. He didn't manage to play for tomorrow. He just kind of managed the baseball game, and I'm so confused what the overall game plan was here. But ultimately, we're talking about Logan Gilbert. Tomorrow, we'll be talking about George Kirby for sure. It wasn't good enough.
Well, let's briefly talk about the defense behind him before we talk about the other side of the ball. Just again, I mean, Gino makes a couple plays, but like he also made some terrible plays.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
it started from this, like literally from the start when Julio bobbled that thing in center field. Yeah, and it just, that's something I rarely see from him. Very uncharacteristic from him. I think I've always said this, playing on turf as someone who plays soccer on turf versus grass, it makes a big flipping difference when it bounces in that outfield. Randy had a weird route in left field. Dom Canzone still looks terrible. You need to start Victor Robles tomorrow. Dear God, you do. I don't even care if Victor Robles goes 0 for 4 Ks. He will do more than what Dom Canzone is giving you right now, just solely on his defense. So JP has a weird throw where he's going the other. It just looks like the kind of first half of September Mariners again.
Yeah. They looked overmatched. They looked overwhelmed. I think overwhelmed is probably the best way to put it. They looked overwhelmed in this baseball game, and that's so disappointing for a team that, has not looked overwhelmed for the majority of the year. There have been moments, though, when this team has been bad, it's been really bad. It's been really, really bad. Yeah. And they were really bad in game 3. They were really bad in game 4. They were really bad for the majority of game 6. We'll see what happens game 7, but they're going to have to play a hell of a lot better than they did tonight. The defense was bad. The offense we'll talk about in the second half. Even the bullpen a little bit with Matt Brash. Matt Brash has got to throw more strikes. You got to throw more strikes in that situation.
I'm getting to the point where I don't trust him in a big spot. I'm going to be completely honest with you.
Honestly, that's kind of why. So you guys heard me yell in game 3 a lot about giving up on that game. And I wouldn't have given up on this game, but I don't think I would have used Bizzardo for 2 in this game either when you were down by 4, because I'm really curious to see how he's going to, because you're probably going to have to use him tomorrow, right? Let me just get this out of the way. Ty and Colby will have more on this and stuff like this. My plan for tomorrow would be George Kirby 1 time through the lineup, Brian Wu 1 time through the lineup, Luis Castillo ready to go 1 time through the lineup, Mooney 2. Those are the guarantees for me. I'm not relying on Matt Brash. I'm not using Gabe Spire. Hell no, I'm not using Gabe Spire. Obviously, Turd Ferguson and Carlos Vargas and those guys. No, they can't be part of this game. They can't unless you build a big lead. Then hey, if you want to go to those guys for an inning to close things out, so be it. But those are the guys you have to use. You got to rely on them. And Luis Castillo should be plenty ready. Brian Wu on 2 days rest after throwing only 2 innings should be plenty ready. And if George Kirby's really good for those first 9 batters, sure, okay, maybe you give him some more. Okay. But that should be your plan. It has to be all hands on deck. All of the big boys, except for now Logan Gilbert. And Bryce Miller should be available too. Bryce Miller should be available on 2 days rest after only throwing, 66 pitches, something like that in game 6.
Yep. Everybody
has to get ready to go. I'll talk more about Big Dumper in the second half. People talking about Cal's throw to third. Yeah, it's really bad. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll get to that on the in the second half of the show. We'll take a quick break, talk to our sponsors, give them some love today. I'm sorry that our sponsors for today's show have to sponsor such a crappy baseball game, but crappy baseball game doesn't mean crappy postcast. And here we are, Anderson Hurst, Chris Crawford with you on the Mariners Postcast. We will be right back. There's nothing actually like catching a baseball game live. The energy, the crowd, the chance to see your team in person, but actually getting tickets is the tough part. Queues, login screens, surprise fees, it really takes the fun all out of it. Gametime's huge. That's where it comes in. It's the app that gives you the advantage back to you, the fan. The Gametime's fast, easy, and backed by the Gametime guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. And my absolute favorite part about Gametime is the fees are all included. So the price you see when you're trying to figure out where you're sitting is the exact price you pay. Once again, say that one more time because it's something that I am a big stickler on when I'm looking to buy my tickets wherever I'm going. When you look at a price for a ticket on Gametime, that is the total after everything. No fees added on at the end. So check out Gametime, download the Gametime app today, create an account and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, and go. Download the Gametime app today. The NFL season's here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Man, if you're someone who is a big Seattle sports fan, you could do a fantastic parlay with all three of the Kraken, Mariners, and Seahawks playing tomorrow on a Monday, weirdly enough. And have some fun with that. And FanDuel is the perfect place to do that. You can do live bets, you can do prop bets, you can do futures, you can do over-unders, money lines, however you like to get in on the action. FanDuel is the way to go. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Welcome back to the Mariners Postcast. Anderson Hurst, Chris Crawford with you. All right, let's talk about the offense. Mariners lose this game. What was it, 6-2? Yes, it was 6-2. And the Blue Jays looked like they were the more desperate team today. I would have hoped that the Mariners felt, and I realize the Blue Jays are trying to stave off elimination, but the Mariners being this close and closer to something that they've never done before, I would have hoped to see a little bit more desperation in their play, urgency in that sense. But you saw none of that today. And it wasn't just the pitching. It wasn't just the defense. It was the offensive side of the ball as well. Just pathetic at bat after pathetic at bat, specifically against Trey Savage, who I mentioned this on Twitter. And Chris, I'm curious if you agree with me. It seems like there was a complete approach change to what worked in game 2 for them.
Yeah,
they were very patient. They kind of waited for him to get into the zone and kind of very zoned in on one area of the plate. And it worked for the majority of that game. And they just came out way too aggressive today. And his splitter was working. I will give him that. But it just seems like they tried to be something they're not. And I know this isn't the case, but it screams of something where they see that the Blue Jays are a very scrappy, put the ball in play, don't strike out team. And they're like, yeah, we can do that too. And tried to do that again today. And it does not work. That's not who this team is, Chris. Do you agree with that assessment a little bit?
Yeah. And here's the thing too. Like, yes, Trey Savage swing and miss stuff was readily apparent, particularly in the second inning. That was a really impressive inning. Outside of that, the Mariners Denny grained this thing like crazy. They let him off the hook and then some. So many missed chances. Like, you get 6 hits, you get 3 walks, you only score 2 runs, and one of those runs is a Josh Naylor homer who is the unsung hero from this game. He was terrific. Everyone else, every single other player has a bad moment in this baseball game. Every single one. And I know Josh Naylor strikes out on a splitter, but Trey Savage was good in the second inning. There were way too many. They blew golden opportunities and they missed pitches down the middle of the plate. But in particular, and it's easy to forget because you lose by 4 and they happen earlier in the games, grounding into those double plays to end the 3rd and 4th inning, I believe it was. Yes, 3rd and 4th inning with the bases loaded was so frustrating because you did such a good job to work the bases loaded in those innings. Like you did what you were supposed to do. And look, Cal hits one fairly hard to first base, but it's on the first pitch after Julio draws a terrific walk. And that's frustrating. It's frustrating anyway because, you know, you don't get the run, but it's frustrating after a guy works the count, works the bases loaded for the MVP in our humble estimation, and he just doesn't get the job done. And then JP Crawford, you know, after Suarez draws a walk, Randy pokes a single, Josh Naylor gets a single, I believe. Just a little routine ground ball to second base. And what are we talking about here if you get runs in those innings? The game is completely different. You manage the game completely different. A lot of people talking about Cal, and I'll just say it right now. I've never seen him play a worse baseball game. Never. I've never seen him play a worse baseball game. It sucked. It was bad. And Cal Raleigh will be the first person, I think, to tell you that he was awful today. Not only was he awful with those 3 strikeouts, and the only time he doesn't strike out, he hits into a double play with the bases loaded. Like, you can't do much worse than that. That throw to third base was awful. And look, Gino Suarez has to knock that down. I firmly believe that the third baseman should be getting off the bag because you had no chance to get the runner. As soon as you see that, Gino Suarez has to be like, I'm playing goalie here to make sure this doesn't get past me. It's still a terrible throw and one Cal shouldn't be making. Eat it, take it, put it on the ground, or keep it in your glove, on the ground. Cal was wretched today, and it sucks. And I cannot state this enough that this is just tonight. This is tonight's game. We are only talking about game 6 of the ALCS. We're not talking about Cal overall. We're not even talking about him tomorrow because it won't shock me at all if he bounces back with a monster game tomorrow. He's one of the only reasons you're playing in this baseball game. But he was dreadful tonight, and they need a huge bounce back from him tomorrow. Huge bounce back because he played a terrible baseball game.
Yeah, it wasn't just him. Julio's 0 for 10 in his last 3 games. Polanco was 0 for tonight. I'm trying to think who else. I mean, just Dom Canzone's terrible.
Can I give you my unsung villain just real quick? Because I'm going to forget about it if I don't. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, go.
JP Crawford, because not only does he hit into that double play, and I know he draws 2 walks tonight. Great. Whoop-de-freaking-do. That base running mistake, the more I think about it, is inexcusable.
On the Leo Rivas, yes.
On the Leo Rivas, who hits a single, just crushes that baseball. How in the hell are you not on third base or scoring a run? And here's the thing. I will also give part of that unsung villain to Eric Young Jr. because Eric Young Jr. needs to tell you halfway, where are you going? What in the hell are you doing, dude? For him, when I saw him standing at second base, Kevin McAllister home alone so bad. And I had a dreadful feeling after that because he gets the single and then Julio draws the walk. Then Rivas should have been picked off first base. And that's becoming a little bit of an issue. He has made a couple of really bad base running gaffes. At least he's getting on base, unlike Dom Canzone, who congratulations on a hit, Dom. Great job. Julio draws the walk, and I just thought baseball gods are not going to reward the Seattle Mariners. They're not going to. No. That you can't get away with that. It is Walter didn't cook, and Jesse Pinkman had his he can't keep getting away with this. The Seattle Mariners broke bad, and that inning, imagine you score a couple runs there. It's still a 2-0 game. Imagine.
Well, and that's
you should have.
And that's what I kind of come back to. Yes, it was bad base running by JP, but you're also like, what, a foot, 2 feet away from tying the game?
Yeah.
In terms of that getting out of there?
That's the other thing, too, is
oh my God.
Oh, and it's so funny too, because a good play by the right fielder to, make sure that it gets back in.
And the center fielder to back up
the center fielder,
yes.
right? Yep. And then you also saw, and it ended up not mattering because the next play, Addison Barger hits an absolute tank off of Gilbert. Randy Arozarena having no idea what the ground rules are in Toronto, apparently, just kind of like looking at the ball. And then it's like, oh, that's not a home run. I mean,
stand up triple.
Oh, yeah. And, the only reason it didn't end up being like a huge moment is because Logan Gilbert leaves a horrible pitch to Addison Barger, I believe was the next hitter who hits that home run. They just looked bad. They looked like a well below average baseball team in every facet of the game. And I'll tell you this, Anders, part of that excites me because there's no way in Hades they're going to play that bad tomorrow. I'm just telling you right now. They're not going to play that bad tomorrow.
They don't even have to play that bad just to lose, though. They need to play a whole lot better.
Absolutely, they do. But I just have this gut feeling that, and this is also probably me just wanting it. I really want them to go to the World Series. It's wishful thinking on top of the fact that minus game 3 to game 4, they have done such a great job of bouncing back from these types of situations.
Yeah.
You can't play any worse. You still made it a relatively close game, 4 runs, close-ish, close adjacent.
Yeah.
Didn't feel like a 4-run game. Felt like they got their ass kicked. It absolutely felt like they got mollywopped today. But I do believe that Game 7 will be a much, much better game for the Seattle Mariners. I just can't guarantee it's going to be enough.
Yeah, and Softy texted me, like, what are you feeling like today? Softy from KJR, of course. I'm like, I'm going to be on. This is like 4 hours, 5 hours ago, earlier in the day. And I'm like, I'm going to be honest. I don't feel great about today. It's an emotional thing on game 5. You're traveling. The Blue Jays are going to play desperate. A lot of things didn't really go the Mariners' way. Plus, just like I said at the top of the show, they seem to always make things hard on themselves. It's what they do.
If you're a neutral party,
yeah,
and I'm sure if I go look on Twitter, I'd never do that to myself. But if I go look, there's a bunch of people posting this series had to go 7. This series had to go 7, right? Like it had the feel of a 7-game series. Yeah. Not every game has been good. In fact, I would argue 2 of the games have been good. Game 1 was a pretty good one. Game 5 was a great one. It kind of feels like a 7-game series. It kind of feels like it, but it sucks. It just sucks that they came out so freaking flat. That's what pisses me off the most. It's okay to lose.
Yes.
It's another thing to lose and look like you're not ready for the moment. And they did not look like they were ready for the moment at all.
Just don't do this to us, guys. Please. Please don't do this to us.
Can I give you one more hot take?
Yeah.
You know what I would do with the lineup tomorrow?
Who'd you lead off?
Well, I'd probably still stick with the lead, what they're doing right now. I mean, Julio was on some pitches today. He just didn't get the job done. Not excusing it. I'm just saying that it wasn't like he was overpowered or anything. I would
still walk today as well. Yeah.
But here's what I would do. I'd make Polanco the second baseman. I'd have Victor Robles in right field. And I'm prepared to get shellacked here. Even with a righty on the mound.
DH Mitch Garver.
Mitch Garver's in my lineup tomorrow.
More than Leo Rivas.
Yeah.
That surprises me.
You know why? It's because I want Leo Rivas available off the bench tomorrow. I want Leo Rivas in that situation where you have runners in second and third. I want Leo Rivas to be that guy because I don't want Down Canzone in that situation. Hell no. Now, you can argue Mitch Garver is a nice guy to have for that situation as well, but Dan Wilson only uses him against lefties, and you're just going to bring in a righty and you're going to make a switch. I want to take that opportunity away from Dan Wilson. So if I was doing the lineup tomorrow, Mitch Garver would be hitting 8th. Yeah. Mitch Garver would be hitting 8th as my designated hitter tomorrow.
And I realize the picked off stuff is been an issue with Leo Rivas, but I really like his at-bats.
He's looked great, and he's done a nice job defensively.
Yeah.
But I think it's worth pointing out, Polanco has looked better with the bat when playing in the field, when he's playing second base, lately anyway. So that's what I would do. That's assuredly not what they're going to do. No. But Dom Canzone, there's no way in hell he's in my lineup tomorrow. There's no way.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing for me. That just can't happen. And I unfortunately feel like it's gonna. So all right, Mariners lose this one 6-2. Game 7 we go. By the way, first Game 7 in Seattle Mariners history.
I hate
So that should be fun. Today was the third. No, it wasn't an elimination game. Never mind. This will be the third elimination game the Mariners play in the last 20 years. The first two went a total of 27 innings. First two games, 15 and 18 inning games. So.
I don't think I can do this. I really don't think I can do this. Like,
well, I literally can't do this. So my mind will be in literally 18 different places tomorrow because I don't want to peek behind the curtain crap when we're talking about a World Series possible berth, but it sucks. It sucks, man. I have to cover the Seahawks game tomorrow too. Like I'm not looking forward to it. And I'm going to be brutally honest with you, Anders. I'm going to recap the second half of the Seattle Seahawks versus Houston Texans game because I am not watching the first half. I wish I could do the same. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. We're going to keep doing this. Mariners game 7 against the Toronto Blue Jays in Toronto. George Kirby versus Shane Bieber. For all the not all the marbles, but
a lot of marbles.
A lot of marbles to go to the World Series. Loser goes home. Biggest game in Seattle Mariners history. I don't think it's even close. No doubt about it. So you got to get one more. Got to get one more. Don't do this to us. Last word, Chris Crawford.
I still love you, Big Dumper.